John chapter 8. No verses 1 through 11. So Jesus then spoke to them again, saying, I am the light of the world. Whoever is continually following me shall under no circumstances walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. So the Pharisees then said to him, You are testifying about yourself. Your testimony isn't true. Jesus responded and said to them, Now, if I am testifying about myself, my testimony is true, because I'm aware of where I came from and where I am going. Yet you are not aware of where I come from or where I am going. You are judging according to the flesh. I'm not judging anyone. Yet even if I do judge, my judgment is true, because I'm not alone. Rather, there are myself and the Father who sent me. Yet even in this law of yours it has been written, that the testimony of two humans is true. Deuteronomy 17, verse 6, and 19, verse 15. I am the one who is testifying about myself, and the Father who sent me is testifying about me. So they then began saying to him, Where is your Father? Jesus responded, You aren't acquainted with me or with my Father. If you were acquainted with me, you would be acquainted with my Father too. These declarations he spoke in the treasury area, while he was teaching in the sacred place, and no one arrested him, because his hour hadn't yet come. So he then said to them again, I am going away, and you will seek me, and you will die in your wrongdoing. Where I am going, you can't come. So the Jews then began saying, He wouldn't kill himself, would he? Since he says, Where I am going, you can't come. Then he began saying to them, You are from the things below. I am from the things above. You belong to this world. I don't belong to this world. So I then said to you, that you will die in the things that you have done that are wrong. For unless you believe that I am, you will die in the things that you have done that are wrong. So they then began saying to him, Who are you? Jesus said to them, What have I been speaking to you even from the beginning? I have many things to speak and to judge concerning you. But the one who sent me is true, and the things that I have heard from him, these I am speaking to the world. They didn't know that he was saying this to them about the Father. Then Jesus said, Whenever you elevate the Son of Humanity, then you will know that I am. And I'm not doing anything on my own, but I am speaking these things as the Father has taught me. Now the one who has sent me is with me. He hasn't left me alone, because I am always doing the things that are pleasing to him. As he was speaking these things, many believed in him. Then Jesus was saying to the Jews who had believed in him, If you stay in my word, you are truly my students, and you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. They responded to him, We are Abraham's seed, descendants, and we have never been slaves of anyone. How is it that you say, You will become free? Jesus responded to them, Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever is continually doing things that are wrong is a slave of wrongdoing. Now the slave doesn't stay in the household even to the last age. The Son doesn't stay even to the last age. So then, if the Son makes you free, you will be really free. I'm aware that you are Abraham's seed, or descendants, but you are seeking to kill me. For my word has no room in you. I am speaking the things that I have seen with my Father. So are you also doing the things that you heard from your father." They responded and said to him, "Abraham is our father." Jesus responded to them, "If you were Abraham's children, you would keep doing the works of Abraham. Yet it is a fact that you are seeking to kill me, a human who has spoken to you the truth that I heard from Almighty. Abraham didn't do that. You are doing the works of your father." They said to him, "We weren't born because of non-marital sexual intercourse. We have one Father, Almighty." Jesus said to them, "If Almighty was your Father, you would be loving me, for I came here from Almighty. For neither have I come on my own, but He has dispatched me. Why don't you know or understand my speech? It is because you can't hear or listen to my word. You are from your father, the adversary, Satan, and you are continually wanting to do the desires of your father. He was a killer of humans from the beginning, and didn't keep standing in the truth, because truth isn't in him. When he speaks a lie, he is speaking from his own things, because he is a liar and the father of it. Yet because I am speaking the truth, you don't believe me. Which one of you is exposing me concerning wrongdoing? If I am telling the truth, why don't you believe me? Whoever belongs to Almighty is continually hearing Almighty's declarations. For this reason, you are not hearing them, because you don't belong to Almighty." The youths responded and said to him, "Don't we say ideally that you are a Samaritan and have a demon?" Jesus responded, "I don't have a demon, but I am continually honoring my Father, and you are dishonoring me. Yet I'm not seeking my own esteem. There is one who is seeking it and judging. Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever keeps my word shall under no circumstances gaze at death at the beginning of the last age, destruction by the fire of the second death." Revelation 20, verses 14 through 15. The youths said to him, "Now we know that you have a demon. Abraham died, the prophets too, and yet you say, 'Whoever keeps my word shall under no circumstances taste death at the beginning of the last age.' You aren't greater than our father Abraham, who died, are you? The prophets died too. Whom do you make yourself out to be?" Jesus responded, "If I esteem myself, my esteem is nothing. It is my Father who is esteeming me, of whom you say, 'He is our Almighty.' Now you haven't known him, yet I am acquainted with him. And if I say that I'm not acquainted with him, I will be a liar like you. But I am acquainted with him, and I am continually keeping his word. Your father Abraham celebrated that he might become acquainted with my day, and he was acquainted with it, and rejoiced." So the youths then said to him, "You aren't even 50 years old, and you have seen Abraham?" Jesus said to them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, before Abraham came into being, I am." This is the contracted translation, Isaiah 41 verse 4 and 47 verse 8, of Almighty's name in the Old Contract writings. Yahweh, I am, was, and will be. Exodus 3 verse 14. So they then picked up stones to throw at him. Yet Jesus hid himself and went out of the sacred place. John chapter 9. Now as he passed by, he noticed a human who was blind from birth. Then his students asked him, saying, Rabbi, teacher, who did things that are wrong, this person or his parents, that he should be born blind?" Jesus responded, "It was neither that this person did things that are wrong, nor his parents, but it was so that the works of Almighty might be made apparent in him. We have to be continually working the works of the one who sent me, while it is day. The night is coming, when no one can work. When I am in the world, I am the light of the world." After he said these things, he spit on the ground and made mud out of the saliva, and applied the mud on his eyes, and said to him, "You must go and wash in the pool of Siloam," which translates from Hebrew as dispatched. So he then went away and washed, and came back observing. So then his neighbors, and those who had formerly gazed at him while he was a beggar, began saying, "Isn't this the person who used to sit and beg?" Others were saying, "This is he." Yet others were saying, "No, but he is like him." He kept saying, "I am he." So they then were saying to him, "How were your eyes opened?" He responded, "The human who is called Jesus made mud, and applied it to my eyes, and said to me, 'You must go to Siloam and wash.' So then, after I went away and washed, I received my sight." So they said to him, "Where is that person?" He said, "I am not aware." They led to the Pharisees the person who was once blind. Now the day on which Jesus made the mud and opened his eyes was a Sabbath day, Saturday. So then again the Pharisees also were asking him how he received his sight. Now he said to them, "He placed mud upon my eyes, and I washed, and I can observe." Now some of the Pharisees then were saying, "This human isn't from Almighty, because he doesn't keep the Sabbath day, Saturday." Yet others were saying, "How can a human who is a wrongdoer do such signs?" So there was a split among them. So they then said again to the blind person, "What do you say about him, since he opened your eyes?" Now he said, "He is a prophet." So the Jews then didn't believe it about him, that he had been blind, and had received his sight, until they summoned the parents of the person who had received his sight. Then they asked him, saying, "Is this your son, that you say was born blind? So then, how is he observing at this present time?" So his parents then responded and said, "We are aware that this is our son, and that he was born blind. Yet how he is now observing, we are not aware. Or who opened his eyes, we are not aware. Ask him. He has his maximum development. That is, he is of age. He will speak about himself." His parents said these things because they were afraid of the Jews, for the Jews had already agreed that whoever acknowledged him to be the Anointed One should be put out of the assembly. For this reason his parents said, "He has his maximum development, that is, he is of age. Ask him." So a second time they then summoned the human who had been blind, and said to him, "You must give the esteem to Almighty. We are aware that this human is a wrongdoer." So he then responded, "If he is a wrongdoer, I'm not aware of it. One thing I am aware of, that although I was blind, at this present time I can observe." So they then said to him, "What did he do to you? How did he open your eyes?" He responded to them, "I have already told you, and you didn't hear me. Why do you want to hear it again? You don't want to become his students too, do you?" So they wounded him with words and said, You are a student of that person, yet we are students of Moses. We are aware that Almighty has spoken to Moses, yet as for this person, we are not aware of where he is from." The human responded and said to them, "Well, this is a marvelous thing, that you are not aware of where he is from, but he opened my eyes. We are aware that Almighty doesn't hear wrongdoers, but he does hear whoever is devoted to Almighty and is doing what he wants. It has never been heard during this age that anyone has opened the eyes of a person born blind. If this person wasn't from Almighty, he couldn't be doing anything." They responded and said to him, "You were wholly born in wrongdoings, and you are teaching us?" So they threw him out. Jesus heard that they had thrown him out. So finding him, he said, "Do you believe in the Son of Humanity?" He responded and said, "And who is he, Master, so that I might believe in him?" Jesus said to him, "You have both seen him, and he is the one who is speaking with you." Now he began affirming, "I do believe, Master." Then he worshipped him. Then Jesus said, "I came into this world for judgment, so that those who don't observe might be observing, and those who do observe might become blind." Now those of the Pharisees who were with him heard these things and said to him, "We aren't blind too, are we?" Jesus said to them, "If you were blind, you would have no wrongdoing. Yet since you say, 'We can observe,' your wrongdoing is staying." John chapter 10. Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever isn't entering through the door into the sheep's walled night pen, but is climbing up elsewhere, is a thief and a robber. Now whoever is entering through the door is the shepherd of the sheep. The doorkeeper opens the door for this one, and the sheep hear his voice, and he summons his own sheep by name, and leads them out. Now when he has put out all his own, he goes in front of them, and the sheep are continually following him, because they are acquainted with his voice. Now they will under no circumstances follow an outsider, but will run away from him, because they are not acquainted with the voice of the outsiders. Jesus told them this allegory, yet they didn't know what those things were that he was speaking about to them. So Jesus then said to them again, "Truly, truly, I say to you, I am the door to the sheep. All who came before me are thieves and robbers." Ezekiel 34, verses 2 through 31. But the sheep didn't hear them. I am the door. Whoever enters through me will be saved from destruction, and will enter in and come out, and will find pasture. The thief doesn't come except to steal, and sacrifice, and destroy. I came so that they might have life, and have it abundantly. I am the ideal shepherd. The ideal shepherd is going to lay down his sentient being, or life, on behalf of the sheep. Yet the hired man, who isn't a shepherd, and the owner of the sheep, gazes at the wolf coming, and leaves the sheep and runs away. Then the wolf seizes them and scatters them, because he is a hired man, and doesn't care about the sheep. I am the ideal shepherd, and I know my own, and my own know me, just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father. And I'm going to lay down my sentient being on behalf of the sheep. Now I have other sheep that are not in this walled night pen. Isaiah 56, verse 8, and Ephesians 2, verses 13 through 16. I have to be leading them also, and they will hear my voice, and they both will become one flock with one shepherd. For this reason, the Father is loving me, because I'm going to lay down my sentient being, so that I might get it back again. No one is going to take it away from me, but I'm going to lay it down on my own. I have the right to lay it down, and I have the right to get it back again. I got this direction from my Father. There occurred a split again among the Jews because of these words. Now many of them were saying, "He has a demon and is crazy. Why are you hearing him?" Yet others were saying, "These aren't the declarations of a person possessed by a demon. A demon can't open the eyes of the blind, can it?" Now there occurred the festival of dedication in Jerusalem, and it was winter. Now Jesus was walking in the sacred place in Solomon's porch. So the Jews then surrounded him and began saying to him, "How much longer are you going to keep us in suspense? If you are the Anointed One, you must tell us with boldness." Jesus responded to them, "I told you, but you don't believe. The works that I am doing in my Father's name, Jesus, these are testifying about me. But you don't believe, because you don't belong to my sheep. My sheep are hearing my voice, and I know them, and they are continually following me. And I'm going to give them life in the last age, and they shall by no means be destroyed at the beginning of the last age, in the fiery destruction of the second death. Revelation 20, verses 14 through 15. And no one will seize them out of my hand. My Father, who has given them to me, is greater than all, and no one can seize them out of the Father's hand. The Father and I are one." The Jews carried stones again, so that they might stone him. Jesus responded to them, "I have shown you many ideal works from the Father. Because of which of these works are you going to stone me?" The Jews responded to him, "We aren't going to stone you for an ideal act, but for slandering, and because you, who are a human, make yourself out to be almighty." Jesus responded to them, "Hasn't it been written in your law, 'I said you are mighty ones'?" Musical composition 82, verse 6. If he said those were mighty ones, to whom Almighty's word came, and the writing can't be annulled, are you saying to the one whom the Father has purified and dispatched into the world, "You are slandering, because I said, 'I am Almighty's Son'? If I'm not doing my Father's works, you must stop believing me. Yet if I am doing them, even if you don't believe me, you must be believing the works, so that you might know and be continually believing that the Father is in union with me, and I am in union with the Father." So they then began seeking again to arrest him, and he went ahead out of their hands. Now he went away again to the other side of the Jordan River, to the place where John was formerly immersing, and he stayed there. Then many came to him, and were saying, "John didn't do one sign, yet everything that John said about this one is true." And many believed in him there. John chapter 11. Now there was a certain person who was weak or sick, Lazarus, from Bethany, Mary and her sister Martha's village. Now it was Mary who had massaged the Master with aromatic herb oil, and wiped off his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was weak or sick. So the sisters then dispatched word to him, saying, "Master, notice, the person of whom you are fond is weak or sick." Yet when Jesus heard this, He said, "This weakness or sickness isn't going to cause death, but is for the esteem of Almighty, so that the Son of Almighty might be esteemed through it." Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. So then, when he heard that he was weak or sick, yes, indeed, he stayed in the place where he was for 2 more days. Then, after this, he said to the students, "Let's go into Judea again." The students said to him, "Rabbi, teacher, the Jews were just now seeking to stone you, and you are going to go there again?" Jesus responded, "There are 12 hours in the day, aren't there? Whoever is walking in the day isn't stumbling, because he can't observe the world's light. Yet whoever is walking in the night is stumbling, because the light isn't in him." He said these things, and after this he said to them, "Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I am going, so that I might awaken him out of his sleep." So the students then said to him, "Master, if he has fallen asleep, he will recover." Now Jesus had made a declaration about his death, yet they had the impression that he was saying it about the falling asleep of literal sleep. So Jesus then said to them with boldness, "Lazarus has died, and I rejoice for you that I wasn't there, so that you might believe. But let's go to him." So then Thomas, who was called Didymus, the twin, said to his fellow students, "Let's go too, so that we shall die with him." So then, when Jesus came, he found that he had already been in the tomb for 4 days. Now Bethany was near Jerusalem, about 15 stadium lengths, or about 2 miles, off. Now many of the Jews had come to Martha and Mary to comfort them about their brother. So then, when Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went to meet him. Yet Mary kept sitting in the house. So Martha then said to Jesus, "Master, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died. Even now I'm aware that whatever you request from Almighty, Almighty will give you." Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise up." Martha said to him, "I'm aware that he will rise up in the resurrection on the last day, the day of the last age." Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever is continually believing in me, even if he should die, will have life in the last age. And whoever is continually living and believing in me shall by no means die at the beginning of the last age. In the fiery destruction of the second death, Revelation 20, verses 14 through 15. Do you believe this?" She said to him, "Yes, Master, I have already begun believing that you are the Anointed One, the Son of Almighty, the one who is going to come into the world." Then, after she had said this, she went away and summoned her sister Mary in a manner escaping notice, saying, "The teacher is present and is summoning you." Now when she heard this, she got up quickly and was coming to him. Now Jesus hadn't yet come to the village, but was still at the place where Martha had met him. So the Jews then who were with her in the house and comforting her, when they noticed that Mary rose up quickly and went out, followed her, having the impression that she was going to the tomb to weep there. So then, when Mary came to where Jesus was and noticed him, she fell at his feet, saying to him, "Master, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died." So then, when Jesus noticed her weeping, and the Jews who came with her weeping, he grumbled inside his spirit, and was himself disturbed. Then he said, "Where have you placed him?" They said to him, "Master, come and notice." Jesus shed tears. So the Jews were then saying, "Notice how fond he was of him." Yet some of them said, "Couldn't this one who opened the eyes of the blind person also have made it so that this person shouldn't have died?" So then Jesus, again, grumbling in himself, came to the tomb. Now it was a cave, and a stone was lying upon it. Jesus said, "Take away the stone." Martha, the sister of the person who had completed his life, said to him, "Master, he's going to smell already, for it is the 4th day." Jesus said to her, "Didn't I say to you, if you believe, you will see the esteem of Almighty?" So they then took away the stone. Now Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me. Now I was aware that you are always hearing me, but I have said this because of the crowd standing around, so that they might believe that you have dispatched me." Then, after he had said these things, he yelled out with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come on out!" Then the person who had died came out, his feet and hands bound with strips of cloth, and his facial features bound around with a handkerchief. Jesus said to them, "Release him, and let him go." So then many of the Jews who had come to Mary and gazed at what he had done believed in him. Yet some of them went away to the Pharisees and told them the things that Jesus had done. So the chief priests and the Pharisees then gathered a Jewish council and began saying, "What are we going to do, seeing that this human is doing many signs? If we let him go on like this, everyone will believe in him, and the Romans will come and take away both our positions and our nation." Now a certain one of them, Caiaphas, who was the chief priest that year, said to them, "You aren't aware of anything, nor do you regard the fact that it is going to cause improvement for us that one human should die on behalf of the people, and that the whole nation shouldn't be destroyed." Now he didn't say this on his own. Rather, being the chief priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus was about to die on behalf of the nation, and not for only the nation, but that he might also gather the scattered children, or ones born of Almighty, into one group. So from that day then, they consulted together to kill him. So then, Jesus was no longer walking with boldness among the Jews, but went away from there into the country, near the wasteland, into a city called Ephraim, and there he stayed with his students. Now the Jewish Passover observance was near, and many went up to Jerusalem out of the country before the Passover observance, to purify themselves. So they were then seeking Jesus, and were saying to one another, as they stood in the sacred place, "What do you suppose, that he shall under no circumstances come to the festival?" Now the chief priests and the Pharisees had given directions that whoever knew where he was should divulge it, so they might arrest him. John chapter 12. So then Jesus had come 6 days before the Passover observance to Bethany, where Lazarus was, whom Jesus had awakened from among the dead. So they then made a supper for him there, and Martha was serving. Now Lazarus was one of those lying back at the table with him. So when Mary then took a troy pound, or 12 ounces of very precious, authentic aromatic herb oil of East Indian spikenard, she massaged Jesus' feet, and wiped off his feet with her hair. Now the house was filled with the aroma of the aromatic herb oil. Now Judas the Iscariot, one of his students, who was about to deliver him over, said, "Why wasn't this aromatic herb oil disposed of for 300 number 80 Roman coins, and the money given to the poor?" Now he didn't say this because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief, and as he kept the money box, he used to carry off what was thrown into it. So Jesus then said, "Let her alone, so that she might keep it for the day of my burial. For you are going to always have the poor with you, yet you aren't going to always have me." Then a great crowd of the Jews knew that he was there, and they came, not only because of Jesus, but so that they might also become acquainted with Lazarus, whom he had awakened from among the dead. Now the chief priests planned to kill Lazarus also, for because of him many of the Jews were going away, and were believing in Jesus. On the next day, a great crowd who came for the festival, when they heard that Jesus was coming to Jerusalem, got palm branches and went out to meet him, and they were yelling out, "Hosanna, our Savior! The one who has been blessed, the one who comes in the Master's name, Jesus." Musical composition 118, verse 26. "Even the King of Israel." Now after Jesus had found a little donkey, he sat on it, just as it has been written, "Stop being afraid, Zion's daughter, Jerusalem. Notice, your king is going to come, sitting on a donkey's colt." Zechariah 9, verse 9. These things his students didn't know at first, but when Jesus had been esteemed, they then remembered that these things had been written about him, and that they had done these things to him. So the crowd that was with him when he summoned Lazarus out of the tomb, and woke him up from among the dead, then began testifying. For this reason also the crowd met him, because they had heard that he had done this sign. So the Pharisees then said among themselves, "You see, we aren't benefiting anything. Notice, the world has gone away after him." Now there were some non-Jews, or converts to Judaism, among those who were going up to worship at the festival. So these then came to Philip, who was from Bethsaida in Galilee, and began asking him, saying, "Master, we want to become acquainted with Jesus." Philip went and told Andrew. Andrew and Philip went and told Jesus. Then Jesus responded to them, saying, "The hour has come for the Son of Humanity to be esteemed. Truly, truly, I say to you, unless a kernel of grain falls into the earth and dies, it's going to stay alone. Yet if it does die, it's going to produce much fruit. Whoever is fond of his sentient being or his life is going to destroy it in the fiery destruction. And whoever is hating his sentient being in this world will be guarding it for life in the last age. Whoever is serving me must be continually following me, and where I am, there my servant will be also. Whoever is continually serving me, the Father will honor him. Now my sentient being has become disturbed, and what shall I say? Father, you must save me out of this hour? But for this reason I came to this hour. Father, you must esteem your name, Jesus. So a voice then came out of heaven. I have both esteemed it and will esteem it again. So the crowd that stood there and heard it then began saying that it had thundered. Others were saying, a messenger has spoken to him. Jesus responded and said, Not because of me has this voice come, but because of you. Judgment is now upon the world. John 3 verse 19 and 9 verse 39. The chief of this world will now be thrown out. John 16 verses 7 through 11. Now when I am elevated out of the earth, I will draw everyone to myself. Now he was saying this to signify by what death he was about to die. So the crowd then responded to him, "We have heard from the law that the Anointed One is going to stay, even to the last age. So how can you say that the Son of Humanity has to be elevated? Who is this Son of Humanity?" So Jesus then said to them, "The light is going to be among you for still a little while. You must be walking while you have light, so that darkness might not grab hold of you. Now whoever is walking in darkness isn't aware of where he is going. While you have the light, you must be continually believing in the light, so that you might be the sons of light, meaning be like him." These things Jesus spoke. Then he went away and was hidden from them. Yet while he had done so many signs in front of them, they weren't believing in him, so that the word of the prophet Isaiah might be fulfilled, when he said, "Master, who has believed the news that was heard from us, and to whom has the arm of the Master been revealed?" Isaiah 53 verse 1. For this reason, they couldn't believe, because Isaiah said again, "He has blinded their eyes and calloused their hearts, so that they shall not notice with their eyes, and comprehend with their hearts, and turn, so that I will heal them." Isaiah 6 verse 10. These things Isaiah said, because he noticed his esteem, and he spoke about him. Nevertheless, many of the chiefs also believed in him, but because of the Pharisees, they weren't acknowledging it, so that they might not be put out of the assembly, for they loved the esteem of humans more than the esteem of Almighty. Now Jesus yelled out and said, "Whoever is believing in me isn't believing in me, but the one who sent me. Whoever is gazing at me is gazing at the one who sent me. I have come into the world as a light, so that whoever is believing in me shall not stay in darkness. Now whoever hears my declarations and doesn't maintain them, I'm not judging him, for I didn't come to judge the world, but to save the world from destruction. Whoever is rejecting me and doesn't accept my declarations has something that is going to judge him, the word that I spoke, that will judge him on the last day, the day of the last age. Because I haven't spoken on my own, but the Father himself who sent me has given me a direction, what to say and what to speak. And I'm aware that his direction means life in the last age. So then, the things that I am speaking just as the Father has declared them to me." John chapter 13. Now before the festival of the Passover, Jesus was aware that his hour had come to proceed out of this world to the Father. And as he loved his own who were in the world, he loved them even to the completion of his life. Now while the supper was occurring, when the adversary, Satan, had already inserted into the heart of Judas, the son of Simon the Iscariot, to deliver him over, Jesus, being aware that the Father had given everything into his hands, and that he had come out from Almighty, and was going away to Almighty, got up from the supper, and laid down his garments, and taking a towel, he wrapped it around his waist. After this, he drained water into the wash basin, and began to wash the students' feet, and to wipe them off with the towel that he had wrapped around his waist. So then he came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Master, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus responded and said to him, "At this present time you aren't aware of what I am doing, yet later you will know these things." Peter said to him, "Under no circumstances must you wash my feet, even to the last age." Jesus responded to him, "Unless I wash you, you can have no part with me." Simon Peter said to him, "Master, not only my feet, but also my hands and my head." Jesus said to him, "Whoever has already bathed doesn't have any need to wash except for his feet, but is wholly clean. Now you are clean, but not all of you." For he was aware of the person who was going to deliver him over. For this reason he said, "Not all of you are clean." So then, when he had washed their feet and taken his garments, and leaned back again, he said to them, "Do you know what I have done to you? You are shouting to me, 'Teacher and Master,' and you are saying this ideally, for I am. So if I then, your master and teacher, washed your feet, the work of a slave, you too ought to be washing one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you too should be continually doing like I have done to you. Be humble like a slave. Truly, truly, I say to you, a slave isn't greater than his master, nor is a dispatched envoy greater than the one who sent him. If you are aware of these things, you are going to be happy if you are continually doing them. I'm not speaking about all of you, for I'm aware of whom I have chosen. But so that the writing might be fulfilled, the person who is chewing or eating a biscuit with me has lifted up his heel against me." Musical Composition 41, verse 9. From this time on, I'm going to speak to you about it before it shall occur, so that when it does occur, you might believe that I am. This is the contractual translation, Isaiah 41, verse 4, and 47, verse 8, of Almighty's name in the Old Contract writings, Yahweh, I am, was, and will be. Exodus 3, verse 14. Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever is accepting anyone I shall send is accepting me. Yet whoever is accepting me is accepting the one who has sent me. When Jesus had said these things, he was disturbed inside his spirit, and testified and said, Truly, truly, I say to you, that one of you will deliver me over. So the students then began looking at one another, as they were perplexed about whom he was saying this. Now one of his students, whom Jesus loved, was lying back on Jesus' chest. So Simon Peter then nodded to this person to quiz him about whom it might be that he had said this. So then, after that person had leaned back in the same manner on Jesus' chest, he said to him, Master, who is it? Jesus responded, It is the one for whom I will dip the portion of food in the sauce and hand it to him. So after he had dipped the portion of food, he then took it and gave it to Judas, the son of Simon the Iscariot. Now after the portion of food, Satan, the adversary, then entered into him. So Jesus then said to him, What you're going to do, you must do more quickly. Now not one of those lying back at the table knew why he had said this to him, for some were having the impression that since Judas kept the money box, Jesus was saying to him, You must buy the things we are going to need for the festival, or that he should give something to the poor. After he had taken the portion of food, he then went out immediately. Now it was night. So when he had gone out, Jesus said, "Now is the Son of Humanity esteemed, and the Almighty is esteemed in him. Almighty will also esteem him in himself, and will esteem him immediately. Little children, I am with you still a little while. You will seek me, and just as I said to the ewes, where I am going, you can't come. So I say to you at this present time, I am giving you a new direction, that you should be continually loving one another, just as I have loved you. You too should be continually loving one another. By this will everyone know that you are my students, if you are continually having love for one another." Simon Peter said to him, "Master, where are you going?" Jesus responded to him, "Where I am going, you can't follow me now, yet you will follow later." Peter said to him, "Master, why can't I follow you at this present time? I will lay down my sentient being for you." Jesus responded, "You will lay down your sentient being for me? Truly, truly, I say to you, under no circumstances shall a rooster crow until you disown me 3 times. John chapter 14. Stop letting your hearts be disturbed. You must be continually believing in Almighty, and be continually believing in me. In my Father's house there are many places for many to stay. Otherwise, I definitely wouldn't have told you that I'm going away to make a place ready for you, would I? Now if I go away and make a place ready for you, I'm going to come again, and will take you along to myself, so that where I am, you shall be also. Now you are aware of the way to where I am going." Thomas said to him, "Master, we are not aware of where you are going, so how can we be aware of the way?" Jesus said to him, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one is coming to the Father except through me. If you have known me, you will know my Father also. And from this time on you do know him, and have seen him." Philip said to him, "Master, show us the Father, and it is sufficient for us." Jesus said to him, "So long a time have I been with you, and yet you haven't begun to know me, Philip? Whoever has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, 'Show us the Father'? Don't you believe that I am in union with the Father, and the Father is in union with me? The declarations that I am speaking to you, I'm not speaking on my own. Now the Father, who is staying in union with me, is doing his works. You must be continually believing me, that I am in union with the Father, and the Father is in union with me. Otherwise, you must definitely be continually believing me because of the works themselves. Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever is continually believing in me will also do the works that I am doing, and this person will do greater things than these, because I am going to the Father. Now, I will do whatever you request in my name, Jesus, so that the Father might be esteemed in the Son. If you request anything from me in my name, Jesus, I will do it. If you are loving me, you must be continually keeping my directions. Now I will ask the Father, and he will give you another encourager, so that it shall continually be with you even to the last age, even the Spirit of truth, that the world can't get, because it isn't gazing at it or knowing it. You are going to know it, because it is going to stay with you, and it will be in you. I won't leave you orphaned. I'm going to come to you. A little while still, and the world isn't going to gaze at me any longer. Yet you are going to gaze at me, because I'm going to live. You too will live in the last age. On that day, you will know that I am in union with my Father, and you are in union with me, and I am in union with you. Whoever has my directions and is continually keeping them is the person who is loving me. Now whoever is loving me will be loved by my Father, and I will love him, and I will disclose myself to him. Judas, not the Iscariot, but Thaddeus, said to him, Master, what has occurred that you are about to be disclosing yourself to us, and not to the world? Jesus responded and said to him, Whoever is loving me must be continually keeping my word. Then my Father will love him, and we will come to him, and make a place to stay with him. Whoever isn't loving me isn't keeping my words, and the word that you are hearing isn't mine, but the Father's who sent me. I have spoken these things to you while staying with you. Now the Encourager, the pure Spirit that the Father will send in my name, Jesus, will teach you everything, and remind you of everything that I said to you. I am leaving you peace. I am giving you my peace. I am giving this to you, not like the world gives it. Stop letting your hearts be disturbed, nor let them be cowardly. You heard that I said to you, I am going away, and I'm going to come to you. If you were loving me, you would have rejoiced that I am going to the Father, because the Father is greater than I. So now I have declared it to you before it has occurred, so that when it occurs, you might believe. No longer will I speak to you much, for the chief of the world is coming, and it doesn't have anything on me. But so that the world might know that I am continually loving the Father, and just as the Father has directed me, this is how I am continually doing. Get up, let's be going from this place.